All right, looking at Winnebago. WGO is the ticker. Going into earnings. Let's see here. Earnings 321 before market open. So right here we have this one's pretty interesting. Typically I don't have to go to a month, but I'm on a month chart and I found a buy zone here basically between 37.79 and 32.62, and this is untouched. However, price looks to have come down into probably 88.6 in my box here, which could indicate a turnaround at this point. And then we want to know where can it end up. Okay, but a couple notes here. All right. So we're below the 8-day, not a big deal, just barely. All right. And then your other moving averages, the 50 and the 20, we're above those if you're into that kind of thing. On a positive note, that's positive. Going into this chaotic candle, institutional buys moving this up. We got some retail in there as well. Let's go ahead and look at my box here. We'll start with the actual blue box. Go to the top here. And yes, look at that. Right to the 88.6 and a push up. All right. Now I want to turn this around and look for an extension to see where we are. Have we passed the 50? Are we above the 61.8 and so forth? Okay, so on a negative note for me going into earnings, if we cannot get above this zone up in here, this is just something that note to self for myself is that typically this is bearish if we can't close above 50.71 before that earnings. Okay, so again, earnings being on the 21st, which only gives us about 3 days. All right. So that's what I'm looking for. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and short the stock or buy puts or anything. But I will tell you this is a downtrend, and typically at the 50 is a short, technically. But going into ER, considering we're not there yet, those rules are all off right now. But I do want to see price at least get up in this zone before earnings. So saying that, we have a couple days we could ride this for a couple dollars, at least up to 48.27 if we get some good market overall market trend, then I definitely want to try to ride this up into the 50 going into ER. Now, on the downside, I am looking for this to be our uh, T1 here at 37.93. If price wants to move down here. Now this could, again, this is a month chart, so we're looking out for a couple weeks for it to come into this zone. I'm going to move this up to a day and see what we got here. So some nice consolidation going on. Hopefully for before a move higher into the zone I'm talking about in the next couple days. And I'm being quiet because I'm looking for a zone here and I don't see one offhand. So I'm gonna go to a week chart. So price has already come back into a smaller zone on a week chart, and that zone is basically right in this area. So it's come back in there. It's pushing out. So again, that gives me a little bit more bullishness going into the zone in the next 2 days. All right. But again, on the downside, it's just not looking great. It looks like it wants to get into here. And that's a pretty big move for this stock. So I'm going to break it down even more here. I'm going to go to an hour chart. And actually, I want to go to a 4-hour. See what we got going on here. And you could see, same thing here, just moving in this area. A lot of demand there. Now I want to come over here and see what we got. So yeah, your zone pretty much falls in this area, in here. You see this nice gap up in this candle here, and these nice continuation patterning into here. And every time, price is coming back to these zones and getting bought up. And some people would call this support. So on the downside move, let's go over to analyze real quick. They're expecting about a $5 move. So I apologize. Let's go to green. So Winnebago looking for a $3.50 move. Not much. All right. So that tells me looking at a 4-hour candle. Let's see here. We have a zone right here. About right there. All right. And that would put us at about $43. Yeah. It's trading at 46, so that makes sense if it wants to pull back into here. Overall, though, long term, if this thing really takes a dive, I'd be expecting. I went ahead and put an entry here at 38.80 or an alert to let me know once this breaks down, we can expect price to come down here on a monthly chart, so it could be 2 to 4 weeks out. Okay. On the upside, same thing here. I want to be looking up and looking for a sell zone. Could roughly put me up here at 48, which makes sense too. That's $2. Give me above the 61.8 at 50. That's $4. That makes sense to the upside and the downside. So T1 here, we're going to go for the 50 at 48.27, and then T2 at 50.71 for the upside targets right here and right here. They do correlate to sell zones, and actually this one would be a little bit higher, which makes me happy because you never know what can happen, right? So we're going to use this box up here. It looks just like that. Okay. So we are low on the curve when you're looking at this. We're kind of, yeah, we're low on the curve. Equilibrium would be here around the 50. So we're looking to get long when we're low on the curve. But again, ER, so just be cautious. Target 2 would be all the way up here at $52. Target 1, $48. Downside, $42.81. So we're going to go ahead and mark this as T1 right here. And then T2 is going to put you right here. All right. Just like that. I'm not sure what I got over here, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So here's T1s, T2 here. So you can look at this again any way you like, depending on if you're bullish or bearish. To me, it makes more sense to be at the money for this one. Not expected to be a big move. You could do a couple things here. You could buy at the money if you're bullish and sell outside of the zone, which would be here. Same thing here. If you're bearish, you could buy at the money, be shooting for T1, and sell puts outside of this zone down here. Okay, so that's a little bit of strategy going into Winnebago. I'm not big on this. I don't see a huge move coming, but you know, you never know with these things. So let's go back to a weekly chart. The cool thing is on something like this, long term, if you're bullish, you definitely have a nice risk to reward here. Okay, we'd be shooting for overall the 50, putting us at 49. And if we can close above the 51, 85% probability up to 56. That's $10 from now.